This is a quick overview of the Chronos tool that I built for time entry. Time entry is always a pain in the ass, and I needed something to collect the data as quickly as possible, even if it didn't have any integrations. I have upwards of 30 context switches in a given day, and I needed something that would allow me to work on project A, pivot to project B for 5 minutes, and pivot back to project A without a lot of overhead of the bookkeeping. So this tool is designed to collect the data and allow you to do that very quickly. And it doesn't do a lot else. It's not integrated with any systems. It doesn't even have a server-side component, which I'll touch on in another moment. So the heart of the tool is the time entry system here. It's pretty straightforward. Projects, time field. The time fields are smart. They are not actual text fields. You can't select any text, but you can certainly type in anything that you want. It won't allow you to enter illegal values, or at least it won't let you use them. It knows about what time it is, so I can hit N for now, A for AM, P for PM. I can go up and down on my minutes. Tasks is any kind of free-form text entry you want, and it collects each item. So I could say reviewed documents, created initial estimates, took a nap. Time field, of course, is also just like start time. There's a create and repeat button. Create very simply saves the item. Create and repeat is a little bit different. The idea of create and repeat is it allows you to save your progress so far and then recess everything exactly as it was. So let's say that you're working on something and want to step away and make dinner. There's no reason to have to re-enter all the information if you use create and repeat. So when I hit create and repeat, it will save the task and add it fresh. So you can see we now have another one at 8:08 with did some things and ABC estimation ready and waiting for us. There are keyboard shortcuts for all these things, and there's a list here. Most of these are pretty obvious. Probably the only thing that isn't obvious, because all of these are related to entering time except for the navigation. So you can go forward and backward days very easily. There's also buttons for navigating days as well as a date picker. An interesting thing to note is that the Projects tab is a roll-up, an aggregation of all things for that project, all time and all tasks. On the log view, you can see the individual items. So if I had entered 30 individual entries for any tasks, they'd all be here. If I had entered 30 for ABC estimation, all 30 would be here, but projects would only show you the roll-up. This view is what I use for entering data in my actual timekeeping system that my company uses. Because projects is an aggregation, you really can't use any of this information within the program. However, log knows about individual items, so you can use this. So you could delete an entry if you wanted to. You could edit it if you forgot that you also did other things and you didn't actually want to record that you took a nap. In addition, similar to the create and repeat button, you can repeat anything from your log. That is the heart of data entry. Just to give you an idea of what it looked like if you were to add a couple more items. I should also say the text entry is pretty squishy, so I could type in WB and still get W2FBBQ. Beyond time entry and being able to pivot back and forth with projects, there are a couple other features that are interesting. Uh, this particular tool is completely client-based. It has no server, although there is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript that's served up. The data itself lives within your browser using local storage. So none of this data lives on anybody's server. So it's all completely private. It doesn't require to be online if you have the files served up locally. So you could use this tool anywhere, anyone that you wanted. However, that also means that there is no backup. There is no central server that has the information for your time. However, there are export and import options down here in the corner that allow you to, one, back up your data, or two, be able to import it. So for instance, if you decided you want to change your browser from Chrome to Firefox, you could export the Chrome data and import it into Firefox easily enough. There is also a dark theme, which is actually one that I use pretty much all the time. From a technical perspective, there's also a couple other interesting aspects to this. One is that there is a Python server included with the package, so if you wanted to run it locally on your machine, you certainly could. All it does is serve up the content. Again, there's no persistence of data, no communication of data at all. As you can see from the URL for this tool right now, I'm serving this up from a static GitHub pages. You could use this URL, for all time, and as long as you had access to the internet, you'd be just fine. In fact, if you loaded this page up and went offline, it would still continue to function completely fine. The other interesting aspect about this is built using a modular system for all components. There's essentially a tiny bit of code that exists to create an event system that ties all the modules together and also handles very basic, the loading and manipulation of records. But the actual, interesting parts of editing the data, the projects, the start time, everything about this, the projects, the log, the goal bar, everything is modular and nothing knows about each other. You could add as many modules as you wanted without having to disrupt any of the existing modules. It's designed to be able to throw things on there with very little effort. And that's it. Thank you for watching.